Hello everybody, my name is Ellie. I'm a third year zoology student at the University of Exeter on the Penryn campus. Today we're going to do a little day in the life. I've got quite a lot on today, quite a busy day, so I thought I'd film this and then you can see what a typical day in the life is like at university in a global pandemic. I'm just making some breakfast at the minute and then we'll get started and I'll show you what I've got on. So this is usually how I start my mornings. I have my breakfast and I write a little to-do list for the day. So today I have a lecture at 12 till 1, which I'll watch with my housemates because we all do that module. And then I have another lecture at 4 till 5, and I'll watch that with a different housemate because we do that module together. And then 5 till 6 I have a student rep meeting, so I'm the Zoology third year course rep. It's quite a title. Basically we just like gather feedback from the cohort and pass it on and like see what we can improve or what's going well, that sort of thing. So I have that meeting at 5. One other thing, I'm filming this Tuesday the 3rd of November, and obviously UK or England or whatever is going into a second lockdown on Thursday, so I'm going to go to a cafe this morning to do some work, just to make the most of it really, and get a nice change of scene, and then I'll be home like all afternoon doing my live lectures and more work. Okay, so I'm back from working in the cafe now. Just gonna get set up for my lecture, my live lecture with my housemate. So it's a preparing to graduate module, which is we all have to take. It's like a compulsory one, and it's just about, covers all sorts from like interviews to CVs to cover letters, all that good stuff for when we graduate. So yeah, hopefully it'll be a good one. I'm not sure what it's on this week, but yeah, that's what I've got now.
Psychologically, what we're looking at here is we want to help you think about understanding of self-awareness. So when we talk about the careers process and understanding what you want to do and how you want to do it, very often we're talking about things like self-awareness, which are you understanding who you are, what you've got to offer, what your skills are, etc. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that and just thinking about what part that plays in the recruitment process. We're going to focus on what's on the screen there, the Myers-Briggs type indicator. There are a range of different profiles that you can use. We're focusing on that one because we think that one's quite a useful one. There are a number of different online tests and profiles that you can do, and it's been going for a long time and it's well tested.
Okay, so I just had my preparing to graduate lecture, which was really good, and I just thought, like, seeing as it's a module just third years take, that I'd just kind of come on here and say a little bit what third year is like as a zoology student. It's obviously really different to previous years because we have our dissertation, but for us it's a research project, which COVID has kind of ruined a little bit, but I'll kind of just tell you what my plan was. So I was going to be looking at crustaceans, so crabs and lobsters, etc., and looking at their metabolic rate in response to rising ocean temperatures, and to see whether more active, like swimming species, were better suited to changing temperatures than like less active ones, like the benthic kind of not very active species. I was going to be doing stuff in the lab and stuff, but that's obviously all been ruined now. So instead I'm doing a meta-analysis, i.e. using data from papers that have looked at a similar sort of thing, collating it all, and then performing stats on their stats to see whether or not it's significant. So that's what I'm doing at the minute. It's a lot of trawling through papers and looking on like Google Scholar and Web of Science and things, but it's okay. We'll get through it eventually. Okay, so I'm just heading back into town now, back to the cafe. Had my lecture. It's really good, really interesting. Watched it with my housemate, which is nice. But I need to like really crack on, so I'm just going to go back to this cafe where there's no distractions, and I'll catch up with you guys in a bit.
Single most useful piece of writing advice I ever got. Occasionally, it's really useful to have that range.
Hey guys, just thought I'd check in here. So we've kind of got to the end of my day in the life. So I'll just kind of like flick through my day, what I had. So started my morning by going down to the cafe, cracking on with some work. Pretty standard, I do that a couple of times a week probably. And then came back for a lecture, which I watched with my housemate. And then I ended up going back down to the cafe because I was just so productive this morning that I was like, I think I'll carry on. I'll go down there where there's no distractions and just bash out a load of work. Again, some days are like that, other days are a lot less productive. But today I was just like feeling really productive and like wanting to get a load done. So I went back down there for probably about an hour and a half. Came back and I just chilled with my housemate for a bit, had a cup of tea, caught up with her, and then came up here and had like a live online lecture discussion thing, which is really good. And then straight after that I had a student rep meeting, and I couldn't film any of that because it was all confidential, but I have that weekly on a Tuesday where we sort of collate feedback that we've got from our cohort and discuss sort of things that are going well and things that need improving. Obviously this is really important this year because obviously teaching has changed a lot, so it's super important that we keep the feedback flowing with the academics and with the students, so that's really good. And then made some dinner, and now I'm just gonna chill for the evening, I think, because I had a good day. Probably gonna watch the election stuff. The only thing I thought I would add in is sort of why I chose zoology and why I chose Exeter. I chose zoology because from a young age I have always loved animals of all sorts, of all shapes and sizes and colours, and have always been interested in conservation. But that was about it. I couldn't really narrow it down what I liked any more than that. So zoology being the broadest subject that Exeter offer in terms of module choice, that made the most sense. I originally looked at Exeter, the Streatham campus, because I'm from Cornwall originally. I live in Penzance, so about 15 minutes from Land's End, so right at the bottom. So I was pretty keen to get out of Cornwall. And Exeter as an institution is one I've always wanted to go to. I completed the Exeter Scholars thing when I was during my A-levels. So I went up there and was pretty set on doing the bioscience course, and then I was kind of thinking it was a little bit too cellular, and realised that animals and all that jazz is actually what I'm interested in, sort of the whole organism biology instead. So I came to the open day down here basically to rule it out, because I was like, why would I stay in Cornwall and blah blah blah. Ended up loving it, loved the academics, loved the department, the labs, the field work that they offered, the field trips that they offered are like no other uni in the UK I've looked at in terms of zoology or marine biology. The trips this course offers, or marine biology down here, or ecology and conservation, the ones all in the Penryn biosciences, those field trips are unbelievable. They're all 2 weeks, whereas a lot of other unis offer 1 week ones. So tons of things like that. They're just, in terms of biosciences and ecology and conservation, this department was just like leaps ahead in my opinion from what I'd gathered from like the open days. So really it was a no-brainer. I came to rule it out and I actually ended up loving it. So I hope you've enjoyed this little day in the life. It's pretty realistic, I think. You just caught me on a good day, on a really productive day, which is great. But yeah, it's pretty realistic, I would say. That's usually how my day flows. Obviously I don't have lectures every day. Tuesday's my busiest day, so for the most part on other days I'm doing things like dissertation work and I don't know, other things. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's given you insight into what life as a uni student has been like during COVID. It's really not that bad. Yeah, hope you've enjoyed it and hope you've gained some insight into zoology and the uni. Bye!